A huge and deserted mansion stood amidst thick fog. Silence hung heavy in the air. In that house lived a woman named Grace, along with her 2 children, Anne and Nicholas. Her husband had gone to war and had not returned. Grace lived in constant fear and worry. Her children suffered from a strange illness. They could not bear light. Sunlight would cause severe allergic reactions in their bodies. For this reason, Grace had covered every window of the house with thick curtains. There was a strict rule in the house. No door could be opened until the last one was completely shut. Darkness had taken over the entire house. One day, Grace published an ad in the newspaper for house help. 3 people came to meet her: an elderly woman named Mrs. Mills, an old man named Mr. Tuttle, and a mute girl named Lydia. Grace gave them the job and explained all the house rules. She emphasized the children's condition. Under no circumstance should light enter the house. The servants listened attentively and assured her they would strictly follow the rules. Grace's daughter Anne was sharp and brave. She often told her mother that she could see some other people in the house: a small boy, his parents, and an old woman. Grace always scolded her, thinking she was lying or imagining things. But the truth was far more terrifying. Gradually, strange happenings began in the house. Doors would open and close on their own. Footsteps echoed through empty corridors, and sometimes a piano would start playing by itself. Grace grew increasingly frightened. She believed someone had entered the house. She even went to the local priest for help, but he did not return with her. One day, Grace heard crying coming from an upstairs room. When she entered, she saw someone sitting in a corner, turned away. She assumed it was Anne, but when the person turned around, it was an old woman wearing Anne's clothes. Her eyes were wide and terrifying. Grace screamed and ran out of the room. After that terrifying incident, Grace's fear intensified. She started suspecting the servants, especially Mrs. Mills. Their behavior was strange, and they always seemed to be hiding something. One day, Grace found an old photograph album in the attic. As she flipped through it, she noticed something eerie. The photos were of dead people. Back then, after someone died, it was common to take a picture of them, dressed neatly, eyes closed, and posed as if asleep. One photo in particular sent chills down her spine. It was of Mrs. Mills, Mr. Tuttle, and Lydia. They were dead in that picture. Grace was horrified. She realized the truth. The servants were ghosts. She rushed to find her children, but by then, the house was filled with terrifying sounds, whispers, footsteps, and cries. The children, too, were scared. Grace told them to hide and not come out until she said so. At the same time, in another part of the house, Anne and Nicholas were hiding under a blanket. Suddenly, the blanket was pulled away, and standing there was the same old woman Anne had talked about before, the one who looked into Anne's soul. The old woman looked directly at Anne and Nicholas. She was holding a notebook and seemed to be speaking to someone invisible. She said, "They're here. They don't know they're dead." Grace arrived just then and snatched her children away, screaming. The room suddenly went dark and silent. Later, it was revealed that the old woman was a medium who had come with a family that had recently moved into the house. They were trying to contact spirits, and had succeeded. The ones haunting them were Grace and her children. Grace slowly began to understand the horrifying truth. She, Anne, and Nicholas were no longer alive. They had died years ago. On the day her husband didn't return from the war, in a fit of despair and mental breakdown, Grace had smothered her children and then shot herself. But their spirits remained trapped in the house, reliving the same routines, refusing to accept the truth. The others Anne used to talk about were the living, the new family trying to live in that mansion. Mrs. Mills finally revealed everything to Grace. She too had died long ago, as had the other 2 servants. They were all ghosts now, coexisting in the house, watching the living come and go. In the end, the new family left the house, frightened by the paranormal events. Grace and her children, now aware of their reality, chose to stay. They accepted their fate and the house as their eternal home. As the story closes, fog surrounds the mansion once again. A sign goes up outside, "For sale," as if the house is waiting for the next others to arrive.